Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is Dr. Rao. I was going to apprise you of an approach to wellness, which I think is very revolutionary from the existing illness oriented health care in United States and around the world also to some extent. There are some countries that are really following the holistic model somewhat. But generally, it's not a combination of modern medicine and the ancient wisdom, which I kind of go to. So I wanted to introduce you for those people who really do not really know what I'm talking about. This will be a short talk, but still, it's kind of packed with a lot of things that we normally do. So uh, it's kind of two factors really. This is a quiet revolution in terms of how you develop your attention or not lose attention. That's one. The second one is resilience. It's not just absence of disease, but having vitality, having the capacity to withstand disease and also overcome chronic illnesses and then lead a life of vitality and energy and joy and really enjoying your work, your life, your relations, and all that. That is possible because I call this more like my approach because I don't see many people following that. But then when what I'm doing, I'm sharing with my people or whoever calls me with some problem. Um, like one of my friends called me yesterday that she was um, not having any peace in her mind. And something happened at work that kind of robbed her peace. And then she has been hurt. She has been really bemoaning that. And then she was like that. So my approach has more like a 6 pillars. Okay. So all these 6 pillars are really easy for people to understand and follow, but they forget. Okay, my approach is more like a uh, traditional wellness. Let's look at how they do. They wait for the system to go into illness, develop symptoms, and then because of the symptoms, you cannot sit still. You got to go with the pain or weakness or drowsiness or whatever, right? So you go to the system of doctors, of the clinics, of the hospitals, or whatever, because you have symptoms and you are not able to live happily, right? So that's why where what is the soil beneath our sickness and illness? What has happened to it, and why that is giving out this form of illness? So my approach is transforming the soil from which the health is growing. So there are 6 pillars that make this methodology fundamentally different from everything you have encountered before. I know that's a tall claim, but you will see it for yourself. Okay. The first pillar is always I want the human being treated first and a condition next. That means we look at the human first, condition next. We heal the person, not the transaction. Okay, so people come with cough, people come with the cold symptoms, sore throat, bronchitis, pneumonia, diabetes, hypertension, heart problems, so many things, right? So every individual carries a unique story. And wellness begins by honoring that wholeness, the story that patient brings. The condition is secondary to the human who is experiencing the condition. The condition could be difficulty breathing. He is in the state of having the respiratory distress. But the human being has that he has to be kept in mind. That is in my approach, first pillar. Human first, condition next. Treat the whole human experience not just the condition. Not just give a cough syrup, but find out the reason why the cough. What happened to the soil beneath it? Maybe he has the, infection, or he has some asthma, some irritation, whatever, right? So that is the first pillar. Human first, condition next. Second pillar, okay, I call this upstream strength. So you build resilience before your symptoms speak and make you come to the healthcare. Rather than waiting for the breakdown, we cultivate internal capacity that prevents crisis. You're able to withstand, you're able to manage it, but it is a prevention through presence in the ultimate medicine. I call this prevention through presence is the ultimate medicine. So you are presenting with strength, upstream strength. That's the second one. And the third pillar is awareness over reaction. Okay, if you can calm the mind to really heal the mind. If you are having reactivity, that creates the suffering. So awareness of that reactivity dissolves it. The suffering will be dissolved by being aware of it. So if you can train your attention so that you can pay attention to what is the root cause of your psychological and physical distress, be attentive to that. Most of the people we are not. We are responding to or reactive to the symptoms arising from the dis-ease, or really the root cause of our illness, right? So if you are aware and if you are attentive to the root cause, then you are more likely to uh, attend to that instead of wasting all your energy and reactivity producing all the hormones. That won't be there once you are aware, I am having this, and you are able to be attentive to that, to the reason behind it, the root cause behind it. Okay, that's the number three. Recall the three: human being, treating anybody as human first, and the human being suffering the condition next. And people don't realize that. They just view it another patient, another number, another case, whatever, right? And then they don't have this building up the resilience, the strength, upstream strength, so that you can face the illnesses better. And third thing is they're not attentive to the underlying cause. Awareness of that is the number three. Number four is, you see, if you can treat your life as an offering, serving, that heals the giver who is servicing, who is giving, right? So in offering care to others, we discover our own wholeness. So generosity is not depletion, it is circulation, a practice that nourishes everyone involved. The giver, the taker, both are healed by that. So that attitude is important. Okay. And the fifth one is, what is the soil through which you have taken nutrition? Because if you eat something without understanding where it came from, what kind of soil it has come, in the soil, what was mixed, what was given as a manure or as a fertilizer, as insecticide and all that. Do you have the food loaded with the chemicals, or do you have food that is organic, which is good for you naturally, seasonal, all sorts of all sorts of colors you wanted. So it starts in the soil. Many people forget, and then you can really be conscious about the contents in the plate. You can be conscious about planetary wellness and also personal vitality. So that's a very important one. This. So we have come up to the fifth layer too. Pillars. Okay, treating people as humans first and building up their resilience, really being attentive to what is going on within them, it was the root causes, and really doing everything in a giving spirit and getting it back. And then really being conscious about where the food is coming from and how we are arranging our plate to eat in a conscious way. And then we have the tech as a reality, as something that is connected with all sorts of things. So you should have data connected with the modern equipment or watches or whatever devices you use that should give you validation of your wellness, not profit. So how I use technology mindfully is to measure this transformation. Where was his blood pressure when he came in? How was it maintained? What are the things that were working for him? What are the monitoring he does? All that. Like that for any number of things, right? And luckily, we have devices so good, so user friendly that we can monitor almost everything with our health and wellness. And also we can measure the amount of transformation we have. So ensuring our methods that create real lasting change and never sacrificing the integrity for metrics. Okay, that is something very smart to use that way, right? So these are the pillars. I say I don't see many people are really stopping and then treating people as human beings first, and then considering their experience. We have introduced in the informatics field uh, an interview, motivational interviewing. What does it mean is, before motivational interviewing, doctors came and then monopolized the time and directed questions what they want to know, and then did not want to take time to listen to the patient experience of the suffering or the treatment or improvement. Hello, good morning, how are you? They will come and say, and they say, "Oh, what brings you here? Oh, I have this cough." Okay, right away go into the lungs and auscultate and order tests, and then order some antibiotics, cough syrup, and that's it, they're gone. Right? But they did not take time to sit with the patient, ask them to describe what was your experience with this cough. Then he would tell you that it started so, it got upset, it really bad, and then I was able to not sleep. And this morning I feel lousy because I don't have any sleep, and this cough is continuously coming on. And I also smoke, that also did not help. All those things, all those experience of the patient with the suffering or whatever he is going through or anything around it, he will tell you, right? So then that is the considering the human beings suffering, human beings experience is important, and that should be listened to, that should be validated, that should be explained to. Then the patient feels like he has a handle of what's going on with him, whether it is treatable or not, curable or not, or something that he could overcome. All that optimism, all that encouragement gives him the psychological strength and confidence to return back to health, right? So considering human first is very important. I don't see many doctors are doing it. I had to take a journey with doctors coming in as a new residents or new interns or students, and accompany them as they make their rounds and see how they are interacting with the patient. As a leader of that program, I had to train people under me, right? So this is actively cultivated. So I went with them and then observed them. I did not tell them anything at the time, but they noted down. He was greeting the patient, addressing by name, giving a short smile, and then sitting with the patient, and then asking him question. Let the patient talk and listen. All these things are studied, and then I will give a report. I will give a recommendation where they should uh, really improve. This is like a training the youngsters, right? So that's why I want to make sure that they are considering the human that is suffering under the illness, and that should be addressed too. Then the resilience, the attention, the all those things come, right? So that is if you really think you are the awareness, in your awareness everything happening, you will help yourself a lot. So that is something in the meditation practices I do. I make them feel like they are the sky of awareness. In them the mountain sits like a mountain at dawn, and then it kind of takes so many things, but it doesn't fall for the weather and all that. And also all the storms are happening within you. You are the sky, and all the weather changes, all the clouds of thoughts, everything will come and go. So every day, at least sit down for 90 seconds and then consider that everything is coming to you, your thoughts and your feelings and all that. So that is something we always help them. In my healthcare practice, it's like a really cultivating that you are the awareness and everything, all your thoughts and everything happening within your awareness, right? How many people are like that is something for you to find out, for you to really look at it and then say. So my job is to see whether they are overwhelmed by their mind, or they are making sure the mind is working for them. So these six pillars and all that, they are towards the garden within. The meditation practice is about how do you calm yourself, how you really observe the thoughts and feelings come and go, not being given by them or overwhelmed by them. So people are calmer, people are quieter, not only when they are sitting alone by themselves, but they encounter some stimulation from the life. How are you responding to the events of life? Are you reacting right away emotionally, fear, fight, or all that? Or you kind of took a gap and took a breathing gap and then uh, responding to the challenges that's presented to you. So the inner side, older than your memory, cleaner than your fear. So awareness rains softly like a gentle monsoon. No pushing, only tending. This growth without force is the ancient proof, right? So meditation invites you to recognize the fertile ground of your own awareness. Like a gardener who trusts the seed, we learn to trust our innate capacity for healing and growth. Very important. Many people think what we give the agents and everything will heal you. Yeah, they will heal you, but then the innate capacity to heal is already there, and the growth is there. That is, there is nothing to fix, nothing to force. The garden teaches you patience, presence, and the quiet power of consistent tending. What you nurture with gentle attention naturally flowers. Okay, so this is not like a you have to do so much. What is you practice 2 to 5 minutes every day in the morning? Cultivation over conquest. Wellness grows when you stop forcing and start tending. How many people are stopping attending? That is they allow themselves to be conditioned. Eat certain sweet foods, and then you are conditioned to eat only sweets and you enjoy them till the point when the pancreas is burnt out and you have diabetes. So you want to recognize your conditioning in silence, not judging yourself, blaming yourself, but just observing. And then you want to reset your conditioning. Okay, like an elephant, if it is trained very young, then when it is grown up, it will listen to the tiny person. I talked about this quite a reconditioning ourselves. And first of all, you have to identify that you are conditioned to certain food, certain way of moving your body, certain way of sacrificing your sleep and all that. And then what happens? So you may have the intellect instructing you do that, but then If you establish a rhythm for a habit that transforms you, okay, your conditioning intensity fades in your reconditioning, and there you need consistency of the new habit. And the habits obey practice, not pressure. Consistent, continuous practice, right? And then if you have grit and also you have grace within, that is already there, with the nature giving you that, that becomes the lasting fuel. And then you can, outer gym builds muscle, but inner attention builds your immunity to noise. You can have a lot of noise out there, but so the revelation is the remembrance of that radiance that will come out now. Okay, so it's a question of life is spinning, yet you are the center that does not twirl, that does not go into loops and all that. Inhale, the spiral continues. Exhale, spiral unwinds. Between both, the home coordination that happens. Okay, life moves in cycles and spirals. Seasons change, circumstances shift, emotions rise and fall. Yet there exists a point of stillness at the center of all movement. This meditation teaches you to locate that center within yourself. So, no matter how fast the world spins around you, you can always return to this still point, your unchanging essence. From there, that attention to that, that really helps you to overcome difficult situations with poise. So, this practice, this meditation during transitions, ask who is it that is reacting? Stillness in the spiral. What is that stillness? How can I find it? The moment you touch it, the taste of it, you will never let it go. So when life feels chaotic and it is very overwhelming, there are so many transitions, practice this meditation, being in the center of the storm, and that is stillness. And from there, you can handle everything around, or you don't have to even handle them. They will pass. So this 2 minutes of conscious breathing, not just breathing, thinking something else. Being here and now, feeling the touch of air coming through the nose, and consciously breathing. 2 minutes of breathing will take you home to the center that never moves. That may look like something, a fantastic thing for you, but once you experience it, by being here and now and doing the deep breathing consciously or thinking consciously, that becomes it. So what we do is we always try to train people as giving practice. Service is circulation, not loss. We are not losing something by giving something, by sharing our experience, our knowledge, or whatever. See, that kind of thing is very important for us, and we don't usually do that. So we've been taught that giving depletes us, right? That generosity comes at a cost. You will be taken for a sucker. All these things they talk about. But my approach is that reveals a deeper truth. What is the truth? Giving is circulation, not a loss. When we serve others authentically, we activate healing within ourselves. So giving is not loss, it is circulation. Service dissolves that agency, say, I am doing it, to that leads to inner waste. Service dissolves that. And then if you share wellness, personal trophy, you will also get that. Because as you're talking about the wellness, you'll kind of reinforce what you know, and then you will be practicing that. But if you expect something, that is like a friction. Okay, but if you offer something, that is the flow. And one important thing is, if you have data, that data verifies, validates that you are transforming from what you are to what you have blood pressure of 180 over 90 to blood pressure 130 over 80, then you have the transformation evidence through data. So that data validates what happened to you, transformation, not your ego. So we measure your impact to ensure effectiveness, never to feed personal pride. And that's how you are not, you're succumbing to the egotistical tendencies. And the most important is attention is nourishment, not achievement. Simply being present for another is a profound medicine. When I am present with my patient, that is really, apart from all the other things, this is the most important for them to feel that I am attentive to what they are relating to me, what they are telling me, how they kind of take it into real important consideration, right? They feel that attention, validation, acceptance, and also sympathy, empathy that they are suffering about. So I usually tell people get up in the morning, delay the first start, and then touch that awareness you are. You are aware, right? Don't let it stay stolen by the thought coming in and giving the whole network. Everybody is doing that almost. And then determine I'm going to move my body now and every 90 minutes. Simple. And then one act of giving daily, service as therapy. And when you eat food, make sure that is really soil rich, that is rich soil, that is the soil that is organic, that is giving you the fruit and vegetables or whatever, then you are really having a conscious plate. Whatever you're eating, you kind of have conscious choice, conscious awareness, what is a very quality food or not, you know. And so when you sleep, before 60 seconds before sleep, recall everything that is trolling in your mind and put it to rest, vacate it, and then go to sleep. Okay? And usually the elderly people who live this kind of life in like Japan, lot of centurions are like that. And they transmit, and then youth, they follow that, it amplifies. So my revolution I'm talking about is remembering that healing capacity and then radiating that. You already know how to heal. That's the thing that people are missing. But what you remember is what you already know. Okay? So this from morning till evening, I can't went quickly. Morning, you get up in the morning, delay the thought, don't get involved in the thought, be aware, establish yourself in the presence and continue the presence, attend to yourself through the day, and make sure that you are every 1 hour or 90 minutes, you are coming back to your presence, and make sure you are getting up and moving from the chair, and cultivate the random act of kindness, act of giving daily. And then when you eat something, make sure that is nutritious, that is vital, that is grown from the soil, that is vital. There is a conscious plate, conscious of what is happening to the planet and how the vitality of the food is important. You should be conscious about that. And then when you retire, vacate the mind and go to sleep. And also learn from the experienced wisdom. And the ancient wisdom is elders teaching us through that. Right? I hope this is something that you do appreciate. Why do I call that revolutionary? Because this is not really practiced that way. Human beings are not given the chance to express their suffering and also validation by somebody. And people are really treating the condition like a business like and then going without really communicating with the patient, with the human being who it is. Right? That's the important thing that you should understand. Okay? People are not doing that. And then they are not aiming to develop this resilience inside, not just treating the illness or disease, but then resilience inside, upstream strength, we call it. And we are reacting all the time, but we are not aware of the reactivity. Once we are there, then we will be responding with considered data. And also, as a habit, giving, which is very important for us, and also really eating food from an organic soil. And then you also want to make sure your technology is not overwhelming you. Your data validates your wellness. Take advantage of that. I do. So, any questions, or is it understandable? Is this something revolutionary you find? I find it very revolutionary. The way I practice, the way I relate with my patient, the way I kind of conduct my wellness is not just indulge in unconsciously all bad habits of health and wellness, not eating properly, not eating mindfully, not eating consciously, not allowing myself to be doing and moving, right? And also not practice awareness, being still, and also not really allowing the body to rest and the mind to completely go to sleep, so that we are kind of revived, right? So all these things are not practiced, then the wellness is not really given enough attention. The two things most important, right? One is attention, other one is resilience. We want to develop an attention where we are living each moment, and as present is our life, we are living our life completely well, right? And then you are getting resilient by your own practices of vital nutrition, really activity that kind of nurtures your body, and whatever you do with your rest and sleep, allowing your body to detoxify, and then really enjoying that awareness. It really helps you a lot. Okay, so I call this revolutionary approach to thing grew out of many years of practicing, you know, reductionist medicine of modern medicine, then discovering there is a human being under, there is a whole lot of wholeness in the human being. Human being is not just the body or the mechanical thought, but much deeper awareness, much deeper heart feelings and philosophies, conditionings. All these things make up a human being, the human being that he or she is. Do you appreciate that kind of whole human being? Then your approach to wellness has to be revolutionary, wholesome. People may say, okay, walk 10,000 feet, but if they combine, be aware of each feet, each foot that you are putting on. Breathe while you are doing that. That becomes wholesome. It's not about personal habits, it is about how we live and practice and preach wellness in a wholesome way. That's why my approach is revolutionary. I don't take medications because of these two things. Be attentive to everything and develop the resilience inward to outward. Then radiate it outside. And that's what I'm doing when I come and share with you guys. That's what I'm doing. Even with all this, but people come only at the end of where they develop sickness, illness, symptoms. They may be doing some habits, but then they don't really have this inner joy, happiness, peace in their mind, and energy, vitality, absence of this inflammation or this illness coming through so many ways, aches and pains and all that. And also confusion in not having the real pep to live, to enjoy, to really relate with people in a holistic way. your activities, your relationships, your work, and all those things can be very enjoyable, provided you bring that inner resilience to the whatever you do. Make sense? You can ask me any questions if you don't really get this. But this is something revolutionary approach to wellness where instead of considering people like a liver or a heart or a kidney, we will have the illness of those organs if you don't know how to take care of yourself in the long run. Eventually, body deteriorates. That's true. But through our, you know, lack of meditativeness, attention, lack of focus on vitality and resilience inside, we live kind of unconscious. We live kind of whatever comes our way, we kind of observe and go. Do you know that entertainment kind of takes you away from your inner meditative awareness nature? You can have some, but not looking for the entertainment as the main diet for your mind. You are taken away by the external stimuli. Rather, if you really understand what is the harm of the continuous entertainment, that is what the modern world is built on. Lot of entertainment, right? But you can be joyful by going and getting wet in a rain in a tropical area. You can be joyful just to climbing the tree and then sitting on the tree in the shade. You can be joyful about tending to a plant and then gardening. So many things that are natural, that are associated with natural happiness and joy. Are you living that? If not, why? Can you be without phone for a while? Can you spend time with yourself for a while? People don't. Why? So much of condition, right? So we talked about resetting our conditioning. But we have to be aware of that, right? If you are not aware of your conditioning, how can you, revolutionize that? It's not that you're doing something wrong, but you're just aware of the conditioning factors in our upbringing, family, school, culture, and our readings and our unconscious exposure to so many influences and observing them innocently. We do that, right? We're not aware of what is conditioning us. How we are unconscious about so many habits. You know, the people who drink because of the peer pressure, smoking, peer pressure, and nowadays suicide also peer pressure. People are asking them to kill themselves. Even the social media, most of it is like that. Peer pressure. Why do you have to be receiving all the likes and comments so that you will have dopamine shots? Like, that is the conditioning, subjecting ourselves to some kind of external factor that is going to determine our happiness, our joy. No need. It's innately available. Unalloyed happiness, joy, peace, right there. So you got to go in and find out and establish yourself. And that is revolutionary. But going doing work, something that doesn't really matter to us, and getting a lot of stress and burnout from it. Maybe some few bucks to help us live maybe a little bit comfortable life, but no meaning, no purpose. We see that quite often. So think about that. And this is what I wanted to introduce to people, to take a retreat from how their life is right now to what could be, what is potential in a human being, what kind of life he could live. That is something discovery made my life. Ancients had done that. But what they did, how to understand, needed a scientist in me to understand them, not to just to believe them, to listen, to really investigate into it, and then to go deeper. A combination of those insights testing them out in the scientific field with the lab of life. That kind of taught me how to be myself, not alone, but being by myself and enjoying the company of my own inner nature, which is really turned to be, you know, inquiring about other people, taking interest in them, and feeling sympathy for their suffering, empathetic about it, and then helping them to really not completely, uh, you know, take it away, but more like how they can tackle it with resilience, attention, not allowing the mind to go and make it much worse, but staying in that and understanding it, and then providing the relief, which I see. Like this morning, my friend, when she came, she said, "I'm all day for 9 hours. I was restless. I was hurt. I was feeling bad." Then when I exposed her the conditioning, how we build our own ego and then get hurt by first we allow the ego to go up, and then ego gets hurt, and then it goes down. Then we suffer the consequences. We don't pay attention to when we are feeling very good when the ego is praised, but that sets up the situation when somebody comes and deflates it, then we get hurt. And then we live when I showed her this, you're not really your ego, it's like your shadow. And she was able to appreciate that, and she was able to see, yeah, that comes and goes, but me as I am, I'm here, I'm the awareness, I am always there. When she saw that, she was relieved all the suffering that she went through that day. It's as simple as that. That is revolutionary. Just not telling them like you are stupid, you are a fool. No, just being kind to them and understanding, and then allowing them to discover their own conditioning and resetting it by themselves, just by clarity in their own mind. And that feels like some knot is unwound, and you see things as they are. Okay, not as they were supposed to be told in books and universal language, but as it is presented to you. If you can develop that kind of attention to everything with a perception attitude, not data oriented attitude, then you will be thinking focused, but you will be thinking for the things that you want to use the thought. But otherwise, you are aware of the situation, you are aware of what is going on, and you are not influenced by the reactivity that can come when you allow it like that. So, anyway, remember those two words. How attentive am I in life to everything that's going on? Without judging, without commenting, without making a statement. Can I be attentive to what is going on here and now, in the present moment, with awareness? My approach is revolutionary because I kind of talk about being in awareness, not in thought, which is building its own network of thoughts and then go from one to other, right? And the second thing is, how resilient am I in my physical strength, in my mental focus, in my heart kindness or compassion? How resilient I am. How I bring out my concern for the human being in front of me rather than only the condition. If you treat the condition without paying attention to how the human being is feeling and receiving all the suffering and everything, then you missed out a chance to be a friend, to validate his suffering, to help him support of your friendship, your concern, your compassion. So medical field consider this more like a mechanical transaction rather than humane treatment of person who is coming in front of you with suffering. This is why my approach is revolutionary. I hope you agree to that. If you agree, or if you disagree, come and tell me why and how come. We all are patients at some point of it. We all are treated by the physician. I happen to be a physician, so I can be an informed physician and informed patient. So I can understand what the provider is going through, what they are doing. That is a much relief. So I don't have to fear and really worry about something I don't know, because I already know the situation, I know the disease, I know the courses and what is going on. There may be some new findings that doctors may bring to us, which I happily look at it and consider it and understand it and then participate. But otherwise, mostly I know what's going on, right? The ordinary illnesses and all that. But then what happens or interior, that is something I had to go and learn in the ancient wisdom. Who is the person? Is that a persona, person, ego is me, or it is my shadow of my real me? How can I reach my real me unless I sacrifice what I built up as an ego? And that is a big relief. Then you will be in the lightness of being. And that is revolutionary too. Anyway, I can go on this kind of topic because I relish it, I enjoy it, I kind of appreciate it. I kind of see the need for it in a big way in many people. Even though I tell them repeatedly, attend to these things very early. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, you know what's going on, your conditioning. Observe all that. They wait, they let things go, and then they only come when there is this suffering already manifested in the form of symptoms. This proactive wellness is something that you could learn and understand, educate yourself, empower yourself with the tools of the wellness, and protect it before it becomes a problem for you, right? So that's why I'm doing this retreat from where you are to something wholesome, something much more as a human being, and then enjoy that humane intelligence, humane wholesomeness by understanding how to be attentive to it and how to make that resilience come out in life. Okay, then you are living meaningfully, purposefully, and my purpose is to really realize the divine self in us and then let it manifested outside so that our daily life becomes like a spiritual living. Spirituality brought into the daily life, not in some temple or church or something there, but in the mirror of life, everyday relationship with people, with the planet, with whatever work we do, all that. That will transform into something purposeful and meaningful. And that is living for me. Okay? People have to spend time on these kind of things to look at their own life, their own conditioning, and reset. That's the purpose of my upcoming retreat. And if any questions, anything like that, you can always DM me. But I hope you guys come and participate in that transformation experience for 2 days, 3 hours each. We will first assess where you are, and then you can keep the assessment to yourself, but you can come out with the any doubts and questions that you have about your own wellness, where you are stuck or where you want some understanding. But there will be a general discussion of what is this proactive wellness, how to be proactive about our wellness, about diet, about activity, about exercise, about sleep, about your mind, how to calm it down, and of the technology, how to deal in this tech area, how to not to burn out stress. All those means of wellness will be discussed for 2 days, and then you can present if you want. You can come and present your problem, and then we can work on that. For example, if you have a backache and you have been doing so much with orthopedics, with the physical therapy, and with surgeries and all that, then you can learn how to go into your pain and then really not being bothered by that. That there's something called going into our own pain, thereby reducing it. You may have heard it or not heard it. It's up to you. All right, take it easy. And then remember, there are proactively to be well. If you have illness, there is a resilience within you. You can rake it up. Okay. And don't be conditioned by external factors. Identify that, take a retreat from that kind of living daily, and step into these awareness programs where you see where you are conditioned, how you can recondition yourself back to the wholesome wellness. Thank you. I'll see you again. Bye bye.